Welcome back, guys. On the last video I forgot to do the starting battleship, so I'll go and do that now. So at the start of the campaign, if you start in 1890, you have 10,500 displacement, so you can reduce your beam and draft down to the minimum, and so you're able to increase your displacement and then increase your beam to the point where you've got 10,500, or as close as you can get, obviously. Now, at the start of the game, you don't need much speed in your battleship, so just set your battleships down to as low as you can to save a little bit of weight, save some cost as well, but they really don't need any speed, really. I mean, it doesn't increase it a massive amount as you go up, so you can put some speed on if you really want to, but in my opinion there's no real reason to have speed on a battleship, so just leave it at minimum. So I've basically done one ship here with the biggest possible guns that you can put on. So we've got 12.9ers with maximum length, and then we've got the biggest secondary casemates with maximum length, extra diameter and everything. So we've basically got the biggest, most armament ship that we can build, and we're still able to put a decent amount of armour in. Now, this isn't what I recommend doing. I'm just using this as an example. If you want the biggest and best stuff, you can still put a fair amount of armour on your ship and get away with it. Now, compound is always better than iron plate because of the percentage. Even when you've got the lowest amount of armour on possible, the percentage, basically, it's always better to have compound. If you add a 9-inch belt, which is the lowest you can get, that's effectively 16.2 inches if you were going to use iron plate. So you would need to put your belt up to 16.2 inches to get the equivalent resistance that you get off 9 inches of compound armour. It's also cheaper on the main deck, or the decks I should say, and the superstructure to have compound armour. So there's no reason at all, if you're using it in terms of armour, there's no reason to have iron plate whatsoever. Like I say, we've got the biggest and best guns on possible, and we're still able to put enough armour on the ship. So yeah, that is if you want the most guns and the biggest guns, but really you don't need these ridiculously oversized 12.9 inches with maximum barrel in 1890. So you can quite comfortably just change these. The 9 inches work perfectly fine. To destroy enemy battleships, you can just use torpedoes. So torpedo boats are the way that you destroy enemy battleships, not 12.9 inches. So you can take the 9-inch barrels instead. If you really wanted to, you could go for maybe a little bit higher if you're thinking about destroying the enemy armoured cruisers. But again, you can kill the armoured cruisers with torpedo boats, so it's not necessary at all. The main positive of a battleship is the amount of guns that it can fit on, to kill all of the smaller ships and still have enough armour to resist any shots fired back at you. So if you take the 9 inches instead, you can put the barrel length up. and we've saved 13%. So you can now put that 13% into any armour that you feel like you're unprotected on. At the start of the game in 1890, you don't take many deck hits because the enemy accuracy is so bad that they have to get so close to hit you regularly, and when they're so close, the trajectory is not high enough. I don't know what the word is for trajectories, but steep enough, I don't know, arced enough, whatever you want to call it. It's not high enough to land on your deck with regularity, so you really don't need much deck armour at all. You're mainly going to want to protect your belts. So you can spend that 13% on belt armour and then maybe put this up to 2 inch, sorry, if you really want to. But it's not drastically important. Always put a little bit more on your turrets than you would on your actual ship. So we can probably put this up. Yeah, we can put this up really high if we wanted to. Superstructure is important as well, so you could just put equal amounts onto your superstructure and your forebelt for everything that you've saved from reducing the caliber of your guns. So what have we got there? Let's have a look. So you could do that instead. You get it's about 2 inches more fore and aft belt, and we've put the superstructure up from 1.2 to 7, so that'll save your towers and your funnels from getting knocked out. So that's what I recommend at the start of the game. That's pretty much it. Now these 5.9 inches, they are pretty good. So we've got 2.9 inches here, so we can compare them. So the 5.9 inches have still got pretty decent accuracy. So like at 2,500 meters to 2.5 kilometers, it's got 7.7 compared to 4.4, and the damage is 23 versus 6. So they are good, but the rate of fire is obviously considerably less. You only get 3 rounds a minute compared to 12, so it's 4 times less shots. And if you're struggling to deal with torpedo boats in particular, then you could take these off, replace them with 2.9ers, which will give you better point defense for killing the enemy torpedo boats, and it'll also give you 5% more, which you can then put into a bit more armour. So there are your 3 different options basically: massive guns with hardly any armour, or the smallest main guns with the biggest secondary guns, or the smallest of both and loads of armour. So yeah, whatever you do, just don't use iron plate. Although it looks tempting to have 12% more, it's much worse in terms of the actual quality and the required amount that you need to get the same resistance. So yeah, always use compound armour. Alright, cheers for watching guys, take care, I'll see you soon.